Yo, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy Domwork, man. And look, if you've been following the channel for the past couple of years, you know that most of the builds that I drop don't have any job and dunk on them. And that's just because of the fact that the way I like to play the game, I don't really need it. And when you skip out on job and dunk, you free up a ton of attribute points that you can use elsewhere on your build. So for me, it only made sense. And on top of that, I was still able to get a high job and layup most of the time anyway. So it wasn't like I couldn't attack the rim and finish at all, I just couldn't dunk the ball. So in my eyes, I really wasn't losing out on anything. But that's only looking at it from a competitive standpoint, because we all know nothing beats taking it to the rack and throwing it down on a defender. And y'all know I love my shot creative builds, but there's days where I get on 2K and I'm in the mood to catch a body. I'll be in here watching D-Wade highlights or Ja Morant, Steve Francis, and I get on 2K and I'm like, damn, none of my builds can dunk. So I said, yo, look, enough is enough. I gotta make me at least one slasher. And this is really something that I do every year. Because if you've been following the channel, you know last year I had that 6'4 slasher and that build was crazy. So I wanted to make something similar to that build, but I said, look, if I could get a high drive and dunk and squeeze a mid-80s 3-ball out of this build, I might be unguardable. Because look, the bottom line is, bro, you're not stopping this build going to the rim. I just have too many options. As y'all can see, even when I'm not getting a dunk, I'm still getting a Euro step layup, an acrobat layup. And the other thing that makes this build super tough to guard is the fact that I get gold whistle. So if you're out of position and you want to try to contest me when I'm attacking the rim, I'm probably going to end up at the line. And like I always say, I don't like to put myself in a box, so not only can this build finish at the rim, but it's also an elite 3-point shooter too. So if you play off and try to stop my drive to the rack, all I'm gonna do is let it fly on you. So having that ability to finish at the rim and let it fly from deep makes this build super tough to guard. And honestly, this is probably my best scoring guard build so far. Now, I'm not saying it's the best overall, because that comes down to your personal play style, but when it comes to putting the ball in the rim, it's hard to beat this build right here, man. So look, I'm gonna get in the build to show y'all how I made the build, and of course, I'm gonna give y'all the SIGs and the jump shot. Now, you can really make this build at the 1 or the 2, but I chose to make mine a 2 guard because look, I'm gonna end up sacrificing some pass accuracy on this build, and I feel like if you're gonna be a point guard, you wanna have at least a 77. Anything lower than that, I don't think it's really fit to run the PG, but to each his own. Now, the only drawback to making this build a 2 guard is that at times you will get put at small forward. But anyway, man, as y'all can see, we're gonna go 6'3", 170 on the weight, and a 6'11 wingspan. Now, although this build is gonna be a dunker, I still want it to have a reliable layup rating, because there's gonna be times where a scoop layup or a floater might be the better choice to make. And y'all know there's gonna be times where you think you're getting a dunk, but 2K gives you a layup, or they take you out of your dunk animation and put you in a layup animation, so you wanna make sure you're covered. Now, for the job and dunk, if you couldn't tell by the intro, we on demon time with it. So we're gonna max our job and dunk out at a 96, and as y'all know, that's gonna get you all the dunk packages, all the contacts and all that. And y'all see the badges that we get, so you already know what time it is. And like I mentioned earlier, with that 96 job and dunk, we also get gold whistle. And look, as a player that's gonna be attacking the rim a lot, this badge is super beneficial to have. And y'all can see it's really just and ones all day. And once you get a couple of these, dude's gonna be real hesitant to jump on you when you get to the paint. Now for the shooting on the build, we're gonna go with the 72 midi and an 86 3-ball. Now y'all know I love the midi, but had to make a sacrifice on this build, man. It is what it is. But trust and believe, you can still hit with that 72. And for everything else that I'm getting on this build offensively, I'll live with the silver midi magician. And y'all already know the 86 3-ball is knocked down. You get silver agent 3, silver dead-eye blinders and all that. So when it comes to shooting from deep, you're knocked down. Now for the playmaking on the build, we're gonna go with the 70 pass accuracy, a 92 ball handle, and an 85 speed with ball. And y'all already know what it is, man. Like I said earlier, when you're making these builds, you're gonna take a hit somewhere. You gotta sacrifice something. And y'all can see this build is more designed to be a scorer than a playmaker, and that's a part of the reason why I made it a 2 guard. So on paper, our passing isn't that great, but honestly in the game it's not all that bad. And I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I'm not trying to promote no ball hogging or nothing, but with a build like this, you're probably gonna be getting to a bucket most of the time anyway. And y'all know what I always say, you want to play to what your build does best. Play to your strengths. I'm not saying you can't pass the ball or don't hit the open man or nothing like that, but you want to look to score first on this build because it's not a playmaker. And if you go out there trying to be Rondo, you're going to end up turning the ball over because look, the build just can't really pass like that. And again, I'm not advising anyone to go out there and chuck up shots or force contact dunks, but the value that you're bringing to a team on this build is putting the ball in the rim. And as y'all can tell from these screenshots right here, this build is a walk-in 30 piece, I'm telling y'all. But when you go through with it, you're going to get shades of Jalen Green, Austin Reeves, Anthony Simons, and the build is going to be called a floor spacing slasher. So before I get out of here, I'm going to give y'all the SIGs and the jumper that I'm running on this build. But as always, man, y'all know what it is. I appreciate all the support. Let me know what y'all think about the build in the comments. And if you ain't following me on Twitter, be sure to give me a follow over there at BeLikeDom. And y'all already know what it is, man. Stay up. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one.